Capricorn, stop scrolling. Something is happening in the unseen realms of your life, and if you're still here, it's not a coincidence. Before anything else, I want you to do something bold. Hit that follow button, like this video, and type "I receive" in the comments. It's not just for the algorithm, it's a prophetic act. You are anchoring a yes into the atmosphere for what's about to unfold. As you do that, understand this: what is coming next isn't a small shift. It's a massive transfer that will leave even your enemies wondering how it happened so fast. They won't see it coming, and neither will you. Think about the most unexpected moment of your life, the instant something changed, and you looked back wondering, was that all it took? Just one moment, one connection, one yes. That's how God operates when you're on the edge of a divine upgrade. Some of you have been sitting in the waiting room for so long, you've forgotten what it feels like to walk through the door. But hear this: the waiting room is about to become the boardroom. The unnoticed is about to become the undeniable. And the quiet Capricorn is about to become the headline. Let me take you into a story that shows how fast everything can change. Oprah Winfrey wasn't born into wealth. She was a little girl who grew up with nothing, abused, rejected, and overlooked. She had no roadmap to follow, no blueprint, no rich family to pull strings for her. But what she had was a calling that couldn't be held down. She started on a small local talk show, unaware that a divine transfer was already written in her destiny. Oprah didn't apply to be wealthy, wealth applied to her. It found her in the valley and lifted her to the mountaintop, from food stamps to Forbes, from rejection to royalty. Why am I telling you this? Because you may feel unnoticed. You may feel as though your efforts are wasted. But what you don't see is the mountain of inheritance with your name already on it, waiting for the exact divine moment to shift into your life. That's the thing about divine transfer: you don't chase it, it locates you. And if you're still watching, I'm believing this is locating you now. Joseph was in prison, not palace adjacent, not waiting in front of the gate. He was deep in confinement. And it wasn't just a jail cell, it was a prophetic delay, a divine holding pattern. But the moment the palace needed a dream interpreter, Joseph was summoned, not because he asked, not because he posted his qualifications, but because destiny called his name. Think about that. One night he was locked in a cell, the next night he was second in command over the greatest nation on earth. A massive transfer, a shocking elevation, a supernatural upgrade no one saw coming. But here's something deeper: the transfer didn't just shift Joseph's life, it shifted the lives of nations. That's what's creeping up on you now, something that will not only change your life, but the lives connected to you. Because what God transfers to you, He intends to flow through you. Some of you are watching this right now, and you've silently wondered, God, did I mess something up? Did I miss the moment? No, Capricorn, you didn't miss it. You're living in the preparation phase of a divine plot twist. You are in the same place Joseph was, the same mental space Oprah was, the same spiritual space Ruth was when she said to Naomi, "Where you go, I go." That was the day God positioned her for Boaz, her divine wealth transfer. But what if I told you that your version of Boaz, your blessing transfer, isn't a person, it's a moment? Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like life skipped over you? Like everybody else was becoming something, but you were stuck, working hard and seeing nothing change? It wasn't punishment, it was a pause. God pauses whoever He's preparing to carry something heavier than applause. So now ask yourself, would you rather be praised or positioned? The ones who are quiet, unnoticed, consistent, that's who God elevates without warning. Like Tyler Perry, did you know he was homeless before he became a billionaire? Slept in his car, got laughed off stages, spent 6 years performing the same failed play over and over until suddenly everything changed. He didn't just get a break, he got a transfer. Those who rejected him ended up sitting in the back row of his empire. He didn't just get a house, he got 330 acres of land, historic land, former Confederate territory. That's what transfer looks like. The very thing built to oppress you becomes the ground under your inheritance. If you've been to hell and back this year, if you've cried over losses you couldn't explain, if you've given your best and gotten crumbs in return, you're not cursed. You're a carrier. You're a walking prophecy waiting to explode. Your delay is your signal. Why? Because divine transfers rarely come to those who rush. They come to those who endure. So let me speak directly to you. You've been loyal. You've kept pushing. You've helped others move forward even when you felt left behind. You thought nobody saw you, but heaven saw everything. Your name has been placed in rooms you didn't even know existed. Your value has been discussed by people you've never met. This is where the transfer gets personal. Something is about to find you. And before it does, you need to anchor your faith, anchor your yes, anchor your readiness. One simple way is to make your presence known. Hit that like button, follow this page, and say, "I'm ready" in the comments. It may look like an algorithm action, but spiritually, it's alignment. You're telling the world and the word that you're no longer hiding in the shadows of preparation. You're stepping into the season of collection. Some of you are sitting in the gap between your sowing and your harvest. And I need you to hear this. Every seed you planted in pain is rising in power. Every disappointment you've buried is pushing up roots of divine compensation, not repayment, compensation. That means more than what was lost, greater than what was stolen, bigger than what was broken. Let me take you deeper. When God transfers something, it never comes in the size of what you lost. It comes in the size of your calling. And your calling is always bigger than your pain. That's why you couldn't break. That's why your spirit kept speaking even when your body was tired. That's why your heart kept beating even when your hope felt numb. There is a reason you were chosen to hear this. You were never designed to simply survive. You were built to be a reservoir of blessing. You are the well in the desert, the funnel in the famine, the person God trusts with treasure. And this next season is not about survival. It's about transfer. You're not waiting anymore. You're being watched. You're being measured. You're being positioned. Because when this transfer comes, it's not coming to your emotions, it's coming to your assignment. And the greater the assignment, the greater the surprise. You may not feel ready, but the transfer is. You may not have all the answers, but the shift doesn't require your certainty, only your permission. And right now, the heavens are waiting on one thing: your agreement. So type "I agree" in the comments if your spirit is saying yes, because what's coming has already been written, and what's written cannot be erased. God is about to shock you. The transfer is already on its way. Capricorn, if you're hearing this, I need you to understand. You are not late, you are not forgotten, and this season has not been a punishment, it has been a strategy. Before anything unfolds, hit the like button, subscribe, and type "I receive" in the comments right now, because something is shifting that has your name on it. Every time you type those words, it's not just interaction, it's alignment. You're saying yes to something your spirit already recognizes, the setup before the overflow. Do you ever wonder why the people who are loud, who push themselves forward, who take shortcuts, seem to rise faster? And then there's you, the quiet warrior, the one who does the work in silence, the one who builds while no one's watching but receives no applause. You've been groomed to think that your quietness is a weakness, that being overlooked means being unqualified. But what if I told you the most dangerous ones in the kingdom are the ones nobody sees coming? They called David a shepherd. God called him a king. They laughed at Moses for having a stutter. God called him a deliverer. They buried Joseph under lies. God raised him over nations. You're not late, you're being loaded. And when God finally pulls the trigger, everything will make sense. Now let me take you deeper. You know how we love to see the victory scenes in stories. The moment the character wins, conquers, gets the applause, we celebrate that like it's the whole story. But what if I told you the real story isn't the triumph, it's the time no one saw? Let's talk about J.K. Rowling. Before the fame, before the movies, before Harry Potter even found a publisher, she was a single mother on welfare, nursing a broken heart and living in a tiny flat. She said she wrote the first book in cafes because her home was too cold to stay in. That's the part nobody applauds. Nobody films the quiet tears, the hunger in the soul, the nights when she thought her life was already over, but she kept writing. Not because the world told her to, but because something inside her wouldn't allow her to quit. And then suddenly, 12 publishers said number 12. Every door said, "You don't belong here." But then came number 13, one single yes, one single open door, one moment in time shifted her from the bottom to the billionaires list. And now millions read her words in every language on the planet. Most people think success is born in the spotlight, but it's conceived in the shadows. And some of you are judging your life right now because you think your shadow season means you're not chosen. But the shadow is where God grows the roots, so the tree doesn't fall when fruit shows up. So let me talk to you, the overlooked one, the strong one, the tired one, the one who has given much and been repaid with silence. You are the one God trusts to carry something the loud, the proud, the unprepared could never handle. And that is why the transfer isn't delayed, it's being developed. I know what you're thinking. I'm doing everything I know and still nothing is changing. You're tithing, sowing, helping others, clapping for those getting blessed while you're battling private storms. And sometimes you feel like saying, God, what about me? But hear me, the louder your spirit gets at the end of the wait, the closer you are to the manifestation. Now let's get real. The greatest storms in history never designed to break people, they evolved them. Let me take you to the story of a woman named Hattie McDaniel. She was the first black woman to ever win an Academy Award, but before that she worked as a maid and a cook. People mocked her for playing roles beneath her. They said she was accepting crumbs. They laughed. But she said something powerful: I'd rather play a maid in the movies than be one in real life. She played the role with humility, and God turned her performance into history. The same woman they mocked was the same woman who broke barriers. Don't let the mockery of your present blind you to the promise of your purpose. You're being measured for what others aren't ready to carry. You're being prepared in quiet rooms for tables God has already reserved. You didn't miss the opportunity, you're being shaped for it. Let me ask you something personal. Has life recently felt like it was draining your strength, your belief, your excitement? Do you feel like the people you helped have forgotten you? That's not abandonment, it's divine isolation. Isolation is where the oil is secured. Oil doesn't flow in crowds, it flows in crushing. And only those who survive crushing get crowned. Think of Beyoncé, one of the most influential women on the planet. During Destiny's Child, she went through betrayal, criticism, breakups, business losses, health scares. Her own father's decisions broke her heart. And yet after the crushing came the crown. Her album Lemonade didn't just drop music, it dropped transformation. She turned pain into power and wounds into wisdom. And Beyoncé understood something deep: what breaks you builds you if you stay standing. You've been standing, Capricorn, tired but standing. And while you've been standing, heaven's been watching. And while heaven's been watching, something has been gathering. You don't see the harvest during the sowing, you see it after the final rain. That's what's falling now. So now I'm telling you, don't you dare get up and walk away. Don't you settle, don't you shrink. You are about to be called into places that your past cannot follow you into. You're about to eat from tables you didn't set, drink from wells you didn't dig, and wear crowns you didn't ask for. And before I go deeper, I'm going to ask you again, if you're still watching, type "I believe" in the comments, because we are breaking resistance in the atmosphere. You have to claim what keeps looking for you. Something is shifting in your name. You've been the last one in line, but you're about to become the first name called. The one who's been rejected by crowds is about to be chosen in secret rooms. The one they lied about is about to be publicly hono. Capricorn. Before anything else, I need you to type "I'm ready" in the comments and tap that follow button right now, because what's flowing into your life after this point will demand your full attention, your full faith, and your full preparation. Don't scroll. Don't pause. You're exactly where you need to be. Something is about to break in your favor, and this message isn't just to inspire you. It's an announcement, a notification from the unseen realm. You've been in the middle of a storm, haven't you? A quiet, painful, isolating storm. People see you smiling, handling responsibilities, being the strong one, but deep inside you're exhausted. Not because you're weak, but because you've been holding up pillars others don't even know exist. Yet in the midst of that quiet suffering, there's something else you've been carrying. You've been carrying promise. Promise that hasn't come yet. Promise that's been delayed. Promise that makes you feel like you're living a double life, one in your spirit and one in your reality. Let me tell you something they won't say in movies, in church sermons, in motivational speeches. The strongest leaders rarely look like leaders in their preparation seasons. They look like servants. They look like the one nobody remembers. They look like the woman working 2 jobs to feed children alone. They look like the man who keeps his pain silent because he refuses to burden anyone else. They don't rise from praise, they rise from pressure. Let me take you into history. It was a man named Howard Schultz. You know him today as the billionaire behind Starbucks. But before the world drank his coffee, Howard grew up in the projects of Brooklyn, in a place where poverty wasn't a season, it was a family tradition. He said, "Growing up, I always felt like life's lottery had completely passed me by. And yet inside that poverty something was growing. A vision, a fire, a desire not just for money, but for meaningful collaboration, connection, and inspired spaces." Then one day, while traveling in Italy, he saw espresso coffee bars, a kind of community energy he'd never experienced. That trip changed everything. When he brought that idea to America, people mocked it. "Nobody will pay for that," they said, but now over 80 countries say otherwise. Let me tell you something. The same vision people laugh at in your poverty is the same idea they'll bow down to in your prosperity. You're not behind, you're being seasoned. I can feel you listening, feeling stirred, maybe even exposed. That's because I'm not speaking to your ego, I'm speaking to your spirit. And your spirit remembers what your mind forgot, that purpose always arrives late. Destiny always shows up dressed like disappointment. Even Jesus, the Savior, the Healer, the King, he didn't start his ministry until age 30. For 3 decades, he lived like an ordinary carpenter. And yet inside him was water-to-wine power. Inside him was dead-raising authority. Inside him was the kingdom, but no miracles happened until the appointed time. So what makes you think your delay disqualifies you? Stop punishing yourself for not being further. You aren't late, you're aligning. And now let me tell you what God is doing. He's making you undeniable, not clever, not cute, undeniable. When this transfer hits, it will not be something you ask permission for. It will be something heaven commands on your behalf. You will not negotiate your worth. You will not explain your rise. You will not apologize for the favor. You've been misunderstood, haven't you? People think you're cold, distant, guarded. They don't know that what they're calling distance is actually discernment. You see through motives. You hear beyond words. That isn't detachment, it's spiritual IQ. God has kept your heart protected because where you're going, one wrong alliance can collapse a calling. You're not antisocial, you're chosen. Let me bring it closer. Your pain has made you wise. Your storms have made you still. Your burdens have made you bold. And now, watch this. Your time in the dark is why nothing and no one can handle you in the light. Ever heard of Vera Wang? One of the most iconic fashion designers in the world didn't design her first dress until she was 40. Before that, she was rejected by the Olympic team and overlooked for Vogue's editor-in-chief position. She didn't get bitter. She got brilliant. Today, her gowns are worn by the most powerful women alive. The transfer took time, not because God was slow, but because Vera was being sculpted. The same thing is happening to you. Your timeline is not a failure, it's a fingerprint. Your process is your proof that what's coming isn't random, it's royal. Now pay attention, there's a reason you're hearing this now. There's a reason something inside you is shaking, because the transfer isn't coming to you, it's coming through you. You are the channel, you are the vessel, you are the prepared place. But listen carefully, the transfer doesn't come when you feel ready. It comes when you start agreeing with destiny. And right now, some of you need to stop doubting and start declaring. So type, "I agree" in the comments right now, not for me, for you, for your atmosphere, for your alignment. This is not about being lucky, it's about being aligned. Some of you will receive this word today, and this time next year, you will be unrecognizable. Not because you changed, but because you finally became who you always were. The transfer is not a reward, it's a release. It's heaven giving back what hell tried to steal. And that's why the warfare was so intense. That's why friends turned on you. That's why the money dried up. That's why the doors stayed locked. Because hell always locks what heaven labels. Yes, it's been humiliating. Yes, you've lost things that broke your heart. Yes, you cried silently in places where nobody knew. But hear me, the next move isn't revenge. The next move is revelation. You're going to discover why the delay was necessary, why the heartbreak was strategic, why the betrayal was prophetic, why the lack was a setup. The biggest mistake you can make now is to shrink, shut down, or settle. Don't you dare, it's not in your blood. What's rising in you right now is evidence that God isn't done. Far from it. You've only experienced the building part of the story. Now comes the becoming. And I promise you, when this blessing drops, even you won't believe it was yours until you remember this moment. The moment you stopped surviving and started owning your anointing. Now breathe, stay alert, pay attention. Because the next sound you hear might be the door you thought was gone, swinging back open. Red, the one they drained, is about to overflow. And just when you think you've survived your hardest season, God is about to show you. You weren't surviving. You were being selected. Capricorn, take a deep breath and hold it, because what I'm about to reveal will feel too big, too close, too personal to be coincidence. Before you go any further, if you haven't already, hit that follow button like this video and type, "I receive MY transfer" in the comments. Don't scroll past this moment. Every second you remain here is a second in which your alignment is being activated. You are not watching by accident. You are being summoned by your own destiny. You've been walking through invisible storms, haven't you? The kind that leave no evidence to the world but leave your spirit aching for recognition. You've been overlooked, underestimated, maybe even betrayed by those closest to you. And yet, there's a fire inside you that refuses to die, a whisper that keeps telling you, this is not the end, something greater is coming. That whisper is not imagination. That whisper is prophecy. It is God Himself speaking to you through the quiet of your trials, telling you that the transfer is near. Let me take you into the story of a man who knew exactly what it meant to be prepared in silence. Abraham was promised a nation, a blessing so vast it could not be measured, yet he had to wait decades for the first fulfillment. Imagine holding a promise in your heart for decades while life seemed to drag you through emptiness. Every trial, every testing, every delay was not punishment, it was preparation. And when God finally acted, the blessing did not trickle, it poured, in ways Abraham could never have imagined. Capricorn, your own Abraham moment is closer than you think. And let's talk about modern examples, people whose lives mirror this invisible preparatory season. J.K. Rowling, the woman who wrote Harry Potter, was living in a tiny apartment, barely surviving, rejected by 12 publishers. Yet every rejection was not denial. It was the universe aligning her to the one yes that would change the world. When that yes came, it didn't just change her life, it changed the lives of millions. And like her, your moment of yes is not about the timing of the world, it's about the timing of heaven. Now think about the way life often disguises your destiny as struggle. Tyler Perry was homeless, mocked, and rejected, living in his car while performing plays that no one applauded. The world thought he had nothing. But God was repositioning him, recalibrating his influence, ensuring that when the transfer came, it would be not just material, but monumental. The same thing is happening to you. Every rejection, every closed door, every financial drought is secretly being curated by heaven to prepare you for a shockingly massive transfer. And Capricorn, this is why you cannot shrink now. You've been chosen to be the vessel of a transfer that will touch not only your life, but the lives of generations connected to you. You're about to inherit influence, wisdom, and prosperity in ways that the world cannot anticipate. You've been shaped, tested, and sharpened for a purpose so precise that every setback you've endured becomes a stepping stone into unprecedented favor. Do you know why your patience is about to pay off in a way that astonishes even your own expectations? Because divine transfers are never delayed by chance, they are timed with perfection. Think about Moses. He spent 40 years in the desert, invisible, seemingly irrelevant. And yet, the moment he was ready, the moment God called him, he didn't just lead people, he led a nation out of slavery. Capricorn, the same invisible preparation is happening in your life. Your struggle has been your school. Your waiting has been your teacher. Your pain has been your promotion prep. And it's not just historical. Look at Beyoncé. Long before she became a global icon, she was in Destiny's Child, enduring betrayal, criticism, and business losses. She did not see the immediate fruit of her talent, but she endured, she honed, she prepared. And when her season arrived, the transfer was beyond what the world could imagine: albums, awards, influence, and a legacy that will echo for decades. The same hidden labor is in your life right now, Capricorn. The same unseen endurance is your key. Now pay attention, Because this is where it gets personal. Your transfer is not simply a financial blessing. It is a spiritual, emotional, relational, and positional transfer. God is about to elevate you in every area where you've been faithful, overlooked, and undervalued. And the beauty is this: the transfer won't look like what you expected. It will be tailored to your purpose, and it will shock those who doubted you. It's not a promotion for recognition, it's a manifestation for destiny. Think about Joseph. He went from the pit to the palace, from prison to power, and when he finally received his inheritance, it was not just personal, it saved nations. Capricorn, your transfer has a ripple effect. What comes to you will not stop with you. The blessings, resources, and opportunities God is preparing to release through your life are designed to impact families, communities, and even industries. You are standing at the threshold of a divine multiplication. And here's a truth that will change your perspective. Your past losses were never losses, they were deposits in disguise. Every heartache, every betrayal, every financial drought, every relationship that ended prematurely, every opportunity that seemed to vanish was God placing seeds of what you are about to inherit. Seeds that were cultivated in silence, watered in prayer, and fertilized by endurance. And now, Capricorn, the harvest is approaching. Imagine this: your life, as you know it, is about to expand beyond the limits of your imagination. Doors you thought were permanently closed will swing open. Opportunities you thought were lost will suddenly be within reach. People who overlooked you will now seek your counsel, your insight, your influence. And the divine timing of this transfer ensures that it will arrive in such a way that no one, including you, can deny its supernatural origin. Do you remember the story of Hattie McDaniel, the first black woman to win an Academy Award? She was ridiculed, underestimated, and relegated to roles nobody valued. And yet, when her season arrived, she didn't just win an award, she broke barriers that would echo for generations. Capricorn, your season is similar. What feels like limitation is actually liberation waiting to manifest. What feels like delay is actually divine orchestration. And there's something else, something deeper. This transfer is not merely a reward for your efforts, it is a confirmation of your alignment with your purpose. It's proof that every tear you shed, every night you prayed silently, every time you chose integrity over compromise has been noticed. Heaven doesn't miss a thing. Every act of faithfulness, every moment of endurance, every instance of choosing God's timing over the world's timing is being accounted for, and now the transfer is arriving. Your life has been building toward this point. The people who doubted you, the doors that slammed in your face, the opportunities that seemed to vanish, all of it was the prelude to a revelation so shocking, so undeniable, that when it arrives, it will leave you and everyone watching stunned. And here's the secret: the most critical part of this transfer is not the material, not the accolades, not the recognition. The real transfer is the release of your God-given authority, influence, and identity in the world. Some of you have been silently carrying burdens that were never meant to belong to you. Family responsibilities, emotional weight, financial pressure, spiritual battles. And now, as the transfer arrives, God is not just giving you relief, He is shifting the very atmosphere around you. Those burdens will not disappear by coincidence, they will be transformed into testimony. The chains that held you will become chains of authority, guiding others through the storms you endured. Consider this: the disciples followed Jesus, unaware of the power they carried. When they stepped into their assignments, they didn't just walk, they multiplied their influence beyond what they could imagine. Your life, Capricorn, is on the verge of a similar multiplication. What was once hidden will now be revealed. What was once limited will now overflow. And the magnitude of this transfer will make every previous season of pain, waiting, and uncertainty feel like preparation for a miracle. And here's the final truth you need to feel in your bones: this transfer is personal. It's tailored to your purpose. It's crafted to your capacity. It's designed not only to elevate your life, but to confirm your identity in God's eyes. You are not receiving what someone else received. You are not inheriting what the world thinks you deserve. You are stepping into a provision that is uniquely yours, perfectly timed, and divinely orchestrated. So stand firm, Capricorn. Watch closely, prepare internally, strengthen your spirit, anchor your faith, declare boldly that you are ready. The unseen is about to become visible. The invisible is about to manifest. The unearned is about to be released. And the moment it hits, everything you thought you knew about your life will shift forever. Because what is coming is bigger than opportunity, bigger than recognition, bigger than comfort. It is a supernatural transfer that will not only rewrite your story, but will alter the course of your destiny in ways you never imagined. And the closer it gets, the more you will feel it in your spirit, in your bones, and in the quiet moments when you are alone, realizing that your life has been divinely orchestrated for a purpose far greater than you ever thought possible. You've endured, you've remained faithful, you've persevered. And now, Capricorn, the transfer is moving. It's coming to you in ways that will shock the world, silence doubters, and confirm every prophetic word spoken over your life. The timing is perfect. The alignment is perfect. The moment is now. And as you breathe this in, feel the shift in the atmosphere around you, because the next thing that reaches you will not be ordinary. It will not be predictable. It will not be subtle. It will arrive with the magnitude of heaven itself. And once it lands, nothing will ever be the same again.